Okay, today we're going to talk about creating a plant symbol in Vectorworks. The plant symbol will carry data with it, making it a smart object. And the way that we get the data is by using a database that is contained within Vectorworks. And the data actually comes from Monrovia Nurseries out in California. They work to deal with Vectorworks, and it's installed within the program. Vectorworks can create 2D and 3D plant representations. Today we're just going to concentrate on the 2D. And this method that I'm going to show you is a little different than what um, Nemetschek, the owners of Vectorworks, would teach you. This is my own method, come up for a particular reason. One thing I want to talk about first is why do I do it this way? And the reason is because I try to use the same exact plant symbol for all phases of the design, meaning from concept and schematic design through master plan, and then into my construction documents. So on my master plan, I prefer to have some line work, usually grade, to give me indications of where the plants actually would be in approximate sizes. And then I'll go in and hand render the master plan. Usually I'll put a pen or marker for the exterior line, and then the interior gets pencil or sometimes marker or whatever we're feeling like. Um, and then without having to redo the whole thing, my construction document uh, will have the typical circle representing the plant with cross representing a proposed plant and the leader uh, and the call out for identifying the actual plant. Um, so I try to only draw once. Okay. All right. So to begin with, what I'd like to do is show you my organization panel first. And here I usually just use one design layer. No need to have any others. For purposes of this, so you're able to see it easily enough, I move the scale to 1 to 120. And in my classes, I created a few classes here, and you'll see that they each begin deciduous, tree, dash, and this will group them all together in a naming technique I've covered in another video. And this one is CD line, representing construction document line. This is the simple outer circle line that you saw in the construction document image I just showed you. Then I have a deciduous tree color, and on this one, it's just an interior color, just a fill with no pen. Sometimes what I'll do, if it's a large project, I'll give it a little bit of fill, so I don't have that much real estate to render in later on. And I use this as a base, and then I use my pencil or marker on top of it. This is a small tree, so I won't need this, but on larger trees, for some graphic interest, you may use some interior lines. And so I have a separate class for that. I'm going to skip this one and come back to it. And then the next one here is tagline, and that would be the identifying call out for each plant. I use these 4 classes to create the symbol, the interior part of the symbol. And this way I can turn them on and off at will, or gray them if I want. And then sort of as a grouping tool, when you create a symbol, it's almost as if you're creating a group. I put them all in one group called deciduous tree symbol. Kind of important if you're going to be using fill up here, that this at least has a fill. It doesn't have to be green. It can be any color as long as there's a fill. And I have all of these, you see the Ys here. That means that they will be turned on at creation. Okay, so let's get right into it. The tree that I'm going to show you is called Asa Negundo. I have a little PDF to show you I created. This is basically all of the data that I have for it. I have a couple of images and some comments and some other things here. This information is available, and I usually try to create a little plant sheet for any of the plants that I'm going to be recommending for design. So anyway, I'm going to use my circle tool here, and I'm going to make my active class deciduous tree CD line, and I'm going to make this diameter 33.5 feet. That is, in the zone that I'm working in, that is typically what this plant gets to be. And a quick and easy way to get precise measurements is once you've started whatever shape it is you're going to have, or a line or a polygon or whatever, you can just push the tab button on your keyboard, and that will bring you into the editing mode of the floating data bar there. You can see that the 11 feet 3 inches is highlighted, and now I can edit that, and I'll just type in 33.5 feet, and to lock it in, I will just push the tab key once. That'll move me to the next field in the data bar. And for this circle, it doesn't matter what angle I have. If the angle was important, you could certainly type it in, but it's not that important. And then I will click once on the mouse, and now I have my circle. And it is, you'll see right here, is 33 feet 6 inches, 33.5 feet. The radius is 16 feet 9 inches. That is correct. And it is in the correct class. So the next thing I want to do is, that's my exterior line. I want to now make another circle in a different class, the class of deciduous tree color. And it's going to be the same exact size. I'll just go from top to bottom here. And now that is two separate circles, one without a line, the color, and one with a line with no color. So now the next step I want to do is I want to actually create the symbol. So what I want to do is come in here to change my class again over to deciduous tree symbol. And then I want to come up to landmark and create new plant. And I click on that. And that opens up this dialog box. You can see it's giving me the plan preview here of what it's going to look like right now. And this first field is talking about the plant graphics. So the spread is 33.5 feet, which is correct. And we're not going to do 3D, so it really doesn't matter. But right now it has the height at the same 33.6. If I needed to change this, I could just go ahead and edit it right in there, but it's not necessary right now. The next area here is talking about the plant list information, and I'm actually going to come back to this field after I deal with something else, and you'll see why in a second. The next tab here is the render tab, and the first thing I want to do is turn on rendering at creation. This section right here, if you pay attention to this little box here, you'll see when I move from no outline to one outline, it gives a little bit of a sketchy outline. You can see two outlines, you can have three to make it even more. I'm going to leave it with none for now. If you were going to start massing these and you wanted graphically to overlap them, you would just check this off. But this is going to be a focal plant, so I'm not going to mask them. Then you can actually have Vectorworks put the plant shadow in for you, and you would just click this button, and you can see this darker green in the back. That's considered the plant shadow. You can change the angle on that depending on what the orientation is. You can see it comes all the way around the back. And you can change what the fill, meaning the fill of just the shadow. You can change what that is. You can make it a nice gray or black. Let's see, how about a gray like that? You can see it's gray. Or you can use a hatch. It gives a little bit of a sketchy look. I have in the past used this skipping gray. You can see what it looks like there. But I'm actually not going to have Vectorworks do that. I'm going to add them in myself if I need them. And the next tab here is the plant data. And this is where we start adding data to this symbol. Now, right now, the field name is the same as the field value. The value is what we want to get the information for. This is why we're here. And to get the values filled in automatically, you would just come to Get Plant Data. And this opens up the dialog box that now is going to retrieve the data for you. And you can see here that this has all kinds of information broken down by annuals, bulbs, coniferous, perennials, shrubs, trees, and vines. I know that this is a tree, so I'm just going to look at those. And I know what the Latin name is, so I'm going to leave that here. And I'm just going to start typing it in, Acer, space, Negundo, and you can see that the selection, blue selection, went right down to Negundo. Flamingo is the variety that I want. So I'm going to click that. And here is all the information. So I just click OK. And now all of the values are filled in correctly. Even better is I'll come back to this first panel, the definition, and you can see that Vectorworks already populated the fields of Latin name and the common name. Now, this is my own method again, but what I do is I normally copy the Latin name and I replace the symbol name with the Latin name. I find it's just easier for me to find it later on when I need it. And the next field down here is the plant tag ID, and this would be the callout. What's the text going to be for the callout for this? And I normally try to make an abbreviation of the plant, so I'm going to put capital A, lowercase n, capital F, to go with Acer Negundo Flamingo. And then if you know what your scheduled size is, you can put it in here. If you know what your quantity type is going to be, you can there's a little drop down menu for here. If you have a SKU price code, or if you have the actual price, you can enter them in here. And any other comments that you think you might want to have on your schedule, you can add them right in here. So now let me come back to the default preferences. And what this is what is the symbol actually going to look like? So your placement spacing would be, if you're going to now mask these or put a couple of these together, how far apart on center would they be? So I'm not going to take 2 feet. I'm going to put 25 feet. Then the next thing I'm going to do is, what would the polygon, meaning if you have a couple of these together, you have a line connecting them to make it graphically easier to find the same exact plants. I'm going to put to the centers and solid. My tick style, I can have none, or I can have a cross if this is a proposed plant, or a dot if this is an existing plant. I'm going to put cross. Now, if this had been a plant that was on site already and I wanted to keep it there, I could just come back in here later and change this over to a dot to indicate existing. But for now, I'm going to put cross. And the tick size, I'm going to leave it 1/4 inch. That's what is default in Vectorworks, and I'm going to leave it there. I do want this to appear on the plant list when I do print that out later, and I'll cover that in another video. And now this next area right here is going to deal with just the tag. And so I can have no tag display, or I can have a tag display going to the left or to the right. And we know that most notes on construction documents should go to the right, so I'm going to put it to the right. This is asking me what class do I want the tag to be in, and I created a separate class just for that, so I'm going to put it in deciduous tree tagline. Now this approach angle and shoulder angle, I'm going to leave them at 0. That's what's default, but I can easily change them on the plan to fit them exactly where I need them. The next section is a tag bubble. Do you want an actual bubble there? You can have a circle, hexagon, rectangle, round. I usually have none, just the text. And then it's asking me what text do I want to appear. So usually on the top, I put the ID. And I usually leave the center, which have the same selections in this drop-down menu. I usually leave that at none. But the bottom of the tag, I like to have the Latin name. And then here I'm going to enable the shoulder line and the tagline marker. And I click OK. And here is my plant with the name. And here's the tagline. And you can see that as long as I have my single interactive scaling mode selected, my blue buttons appear. And I put it on there, and I can just move it any angle that I want. And I can also move this in a route. However, I need to make it look graphically correct. Now, let me just show you what I was talking about with the turning classes on and off. So, for instance, if I am doing this for a construction document, I really prefer not to have any color in it. So I would just come here and click off the color, and there it is. And if I am doing the same plant for a master plan, I can turn the tagline off if it's not important that it be there. And the other thing I can do is I normally don't like a dark line on my master plan. I just need a basic outline that I can see so I can draw over the top of it. So I can gray the deciduous tree construction document line. I can just push the gray visibility here, and it grays it right up. Now I have the cross in there to indicate that this is proposed. But what I could do is go ahead and change that, okay, to right here in my object info palette. You can see that plant appears here. I just come down to my tick style and I make it a dot, and that's what it would look like. And if I decide that that looks too big, like right now I think it does, I can just change that very quickly to 1/8. And now it's a little smaller. Gives a nice appearance. And if I need to change the tag type, I can do that right here. I mean, there's so many things I can do right from here. I can change it to the left. I don't know why I would, but you can. You can change the tag bubble if now you wanted it to be in a circle. There it is. Quantity only. There it is. Hexagon. You get the idea. And there you go. Pretty much, I think that will cover it. Now, the last thing you want to know about this is you go through all this effort, you'll want to keep these. So I usually have my own. I have my own Vectorworks files that I keep all of my plants that I have created, and they would now appear in my resource browser as a symbol or a plugin object. You can see it's right there. So, for instance, if I had another file and I wanted that to show up there, I could just take this, which is from the deciduous tree file, and drop it into my Untitled 2. Close this so you can see it. And there it is right there, with my tagline and everything. So I don't have to recreate the same plant over and over again. I have it ready to go in my library. Okay, I think that's it, and we'll see you again soon.